That's the brag sheet. Um, Now we'll get into the parental help. This is a very critical section, guys, which is really helping with the admissions process. What can they help? And you want to make sure, parents, you want to pick up certain things and you want to be knowing about those things that your kid are doing, because if you're not going to be involved, your kids are not going to involve you, and then you still will want to get involved, and then there are going to be lots of yelling matches, and that's the last thing you want. Shreya and I had lots of yelling matches, but I think our quality of our matches got better with time in general, but those will happen. You want quality matches, not just saying, well, why are you not completing it? Why did you not do this? Why did you not do that? Your quality of discussions has to go up. The kids have to respect the fact that you know the process, not just the timelines. The student is the CEO, and this is very critical to understand. Everybody, all the other people involved, that is the counselor, the consultant, me, your parent, everybody who's in the house or anybody who's vested in the process, we all work for the student. The student is the boss. We have to trust their instincts. You got to get involved only when you're asked. You can make suggestions from outside, but only get involved or throw a tantrum when, choose your battles very wisely, because there are going to be lots of battles. Better know the process end to end. You better have a good agreement on saying, okay, I see the process, when what's going to get done on key dates. Build rapport with your admissions consultant, right? The consultant who you hired is paying top dollars. Make sure you have a rapport. Make sure they trust you. Make sure you trust them. Hold that consultant to milestones and the quality of the work, not the student. It's the consultant's job to make sure they're working. You can yell at the consultant. You can hear back from the consultant. Keep that as the firewall between you and the kids. That's important because they're going through way too much stress through the process. Get hands-on with your kids. Kids don't know project management. They are not good at pacing time. This is not something which they've learned along the way. So teach them that thing. Be the project manager if your consultant can't be. Get involved in these interviewing techniques. Now with Zoom, it's become so much easier to get into interviews, with virtual interviews with the admissions team, with professors. Teach them interviewing skills, because that's something which you've learned by failing and passing interviews in your career. Investigate these college lists. Make detailed notes per college for the kids. Document all the details in a place where the kid can look at. Shreya and I had a very clear agreement. I will only document things in a Google Drive and keep dropping things for her. I would make notes and have a Facebook Messenger document. After the meeting, I would just send her an entire Facebook Messenger dump of a meeting everything I heard. She would triangulate it, and we actually used just that Facebook Messenger Q&A between her and me as a way for us to even look at some of the details we had written down. The scheduled project management skills. Look at this. This is what we got from Elizabeth when we started the process. This is the spreadsheet she gave us, about the schools, what should be done, and SAT, IFP. This is a fairly non-formatted kind of a spreadsheet. It has details, but still not very structured. When I went in, I created links to the schools, prioritized the list, which one we were going to apply for, when we were going to apply for them, which one we were going to ED into, EA into, RD into, when were the decisions expected, what were the essay prompts. I even had that written down over here. So when one thing was completed, we would have that going out in green. So have to have that process going very clearly and structured between you and the child. And this is only things which parents can do, or counselors are only going to provide you this, because they have academic backgrounds. They don't come from really the industry where project management is very critical, and that's an area parents can fulfill that role. Proactively interviewing with the colleges. There are lots of articles, and I'll send you some of these links, but you read these articles and you'll get over your fear. Go through mock interviews. I know Shreya did a lot of mock interviews with Elizabeth before we actually went for these interviews, so she was so confident. Shreya, talk about the handshake and things that you had to do, and looking eye to eye with them. Maybe give some perspective on that.
So I have to actually, I will I'll just talk about this a little bit, and then I have to head out. But I'll give you the Q&A. You can handle that after this. Anyway, so just a little bit on the interview process. Like, you would generally interviews come out around this time, or like maybe a little bit later. Like next year you'll be looking at them. But pretty much like most colleges will have on their website some way to sign up. Otherwise you have to email them and ask their like admissions office or something. But most people, and so in that sense, generally when I would walk into an interview, I'd be pretty nervous, but I would try not to show it on my face. So handshake needs to be strong, no dead fish handshakes. take your resume with you. That is very important. Keep your resume on you. I have a really nice website that formats your resume for you, but at the same time, there's like a specific format that looks a lot better for colleges that my dad will actually go into more next time or in one of the following workshops. Um, Give your resume. Most kids don't do that, but a lot of a lot of the people who interviewed me, they would say like, "Oh wow, bringing your resume, you're so prepared. That's amazing." And what else? There was one more thing I wanted to say. It was that yes, the interview process is only there to help you. So unless you seriously offend them, they're literally only going to be there to help you. So you better like you really want to just show your best foot in that sense that like just don't don't full on brag, but talk about yourself. When they say talk about yourself, talk about what interests you, be humble, but make sure to mention everything that you think is important and give them your resume so that when they're typing up their summary about you, which they do, they send a summary about you to the college so that the college has another thing in your file to look at when they're choosing who to take in. Give them all of that and they will be able to like just take stuff off of that and write it about you. So like,
Perfect. Great.
yeah.
Thanks, Vacha.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. I'm gonna head out, but if you have any
So I'll
questions,
finish up. Yeah.
please
And then,
direct.
of course, Shreya has her email address in there as well.
Yes,
And,
feel free to
for,
email me if you guys want any resources or you're looking for anything. You all have my email. If you don't, feel free to ask my dad for it, and he can give that to you. So thank you
great.
guys.
Thanks, Shreya. So, talking about the important books and guides that I used in the process, Shreya didn't read any of these books, but I did. I read many of these, and it just gives you a good perspective. John Ryder was actually the teacher who taught my class, and so really understanding these, when I went to Stanford and took this class. But these were some great books, and gives you a very good perspective on the schools. And let's